Want to speak real Arabic from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ArabicPod101.com.
Hi everybody, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com and welcome to our new series, Ask an Arabic Teacher. In this series, I'm going to be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, which dialect of Arabic should I learn or focus on? The variant of Arabic you should learn depends on your goals and what you want to achieve using your knowledge of Arabic. If you want to learn Arabic to become a professional translator, work in politics, read newspapers, or write reports for work, then you should definitely focus on Modern Standard Arabic. On the other hand, if you want to be able to communicate with Arabic-speaking people, you have to learn a popular dialect that's widely understood, like Egyptian Arabic or Levantine Arabic. As Nelson Mandela once said, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. And let's get the facts straight. Nobody speaks Modern Standard Arabic in their daily conversations, not one person in the whole entire world. To understand the difference in usage between Modern Standard Arabic and dialects, you need to know what Modern Standard Arabic and dialects mean to Arabic-speaking people. Babies learn the dialect of their country or region first to communicate with their parents. Then, when they go to school, they start learning how to read and write Modern Standard Arabic, because this is what they will use to read textbooks, take exams, read books and newspapers. They will learn it from kindergarten up to the end of high school. But depending on their major, they might take more Modern Standard Arabic courses throughout their college years. For example, if their major is translation or journalism, they will continue taking classes because that's what the news, the formal and legal papers is written in. Other than that, social media, speaking with professors, co-workers, teachers, friends, and family is all in dialect. That's why the average Arabic-speaking person might make a lot of mistakes when trying to use Modern Standard Arabic. Even Arabic speakers need a lot of proofreading when they're writing a very important document. What about choosing between dialects then? Variants of Arabic dialects sound pretty different from each other. They're almost like a different language. Choosing the dialect to study, of course, has to do with the region of the Arabic-speaking world you're interested in, but you should keep another factor in mind. Some dialects are easier to learn and pronounce depending on your native language. For instance, I noticed that Levantine dialects are easier to learn than Egyptian dialect if your native language is Japanese. That's because of similarities in rhythm and phonemes. So listening to different dialects is a good way to get a feel of how they sound before you make up your mind. Keep in mind, though, that the most widely understood Arabic dialects are Egyptian Arabic and Levantine Arabic because of how popular their media is in the Arabic-speaking countries. I hope you liked our lesson. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi everybody, this is Nora. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, how different is Modern Standard Arabic from Arabic dialects? And how different are dialects from each other? Greetings are one of the things we learn first when we learn a new language. But how different are greetings, for example, from Modern Standard Arabic to other Arabic dialects, and from one Arabic dialect to another? Let's see some examples of the difference in some greetings. Hello, how are you? مرحبا, كيف حالك? Hi, ازيك? مرحبا, كيفك? Good. بخير. كويس. منيح. Now let's see an example of a sentence like what's your name in Modern Standard Arabic and in different dialects. What's your name? ما اسمك? اسمك ايه؟ شو اسمك؟ Here's another example. How old are you? كم عمرك؟ عندك كام سنة؟ قديش عمرك؟ To change a noun from indefinite to definite, you add an article that is basically like the in English. There's a difference in the pronunciation in different Arabic dialects. Let's see the word the love as an example. الحب, الحب, الحب. Notice the difference between el and il. These are basic examples of differences between Modern Standard Arabic and two different Arabic dialects. Did you know that on our website, ArabicPod101.com, You can learn Modern Standard Arabic, Egyptian Arabic, and Moroccan Arabic. Check out our website for more information. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi everyone! Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, where is Arabic and its varieties spoken? There are many different definitions of the Middle East. Some say from Morocco to Iran, some exclude Iran and Turkey, some exclude Morocco, and some even exclude North Africa. I guess the borders of the Middle East are vague, and not everyone agrees on them. That's why in our lessons we like to use the term Arabic-speaking countries or Arab world instead. That's because we're concerned with Arabic as a language and with its varieties. In this lesson, we will learn together where exactly these variants of Arabic are spoken. Let's start from left to right, from Africa to Asia. First, we have the Maghreb region, which includes Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya. Again, not everyone agrees on the definition of the Maghreb region, so opinions may vary slightly. Arabic spoken in the Arab Maghreb region is characterized by infusing a lot of French vocabulary and grammar with Arabic and Berber languages. Many other languages are spoken as first languages in this region, like Tamazight varieties and French. Next, we have Egypt and Sudan, where the dialect widely known as Egyptian Arabic is spoken. It's a dialect of Arabic with a lot of ancient Egyptian, Latin, Turkish, French, and English influence. It's a popular dialect in the Arab world due to the popularity of Egyptian music and shows. Other languages are also spoken in this region, like Nubian in northern Sudan and southern Egypt. Arabic variants are also spoken in other African countries like Djibouti, Somalia, Eritrea, Tanzania, Chad, and Comoros. Next, let's move on to Asia. Let's take a look at the Levantine region. This includes Palestine, Israel, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. Keep in mind that not all Levantine dialects are the same though. The Gaza Strip region, for example, has some Egyptian influence. Lebanese Arabic has lots of French loanwords. Syrian Arabic has many Turkish loanwords, and so on. However, for the most part, they're mutually intelligible. Next, we have the Gulf region dialects, which are spoken in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, UAE, Qatar, and Yemen. The dialects of this region and the Levantine region are considered the closest to Modern Standard Arabic. There are still quite a few differences though. Dialects vary widely in this region, with lots of sub-dialects depending on the city or the region. I remember listening to a friend from Sana'a talk to his friend on the phone, and I understood absolutely nothing from that 2-minute conversation. Luckily, my friends from Sana'a talked to me in Egyptian Arabic so that we can understand each other. Lastly, we have Iraq, in the far east end of the Arab world. Here, Iraqi Arabic, commonly known as Baghdad Arabic, is spoken. This dialect has Turkish, Persian, Kurdish, and Aramaic influences. The interesting thing about the Arab world is the diaglossia, meaning that people use different languages depending on the situation. As a result of this diaglossia, the news of most of these countries is in Modern Standard Arabic. But if you walk in the streets or make friends in any of these countries, you won't hear anybody speaking Modern Standard Arabic. Instead, they use their own dialects. Pretty interesting, right? If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi everybody, this is Nora. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is voweling important? And where are the vowels in Arabic? If you look at an unvoweled Modern Standard Arabic text, it'll seem as if it's mostly consonants. Beginner Arabic learners might wonder how it's possible to have so many consonants in a row. The reason behind this is that most vowels in Arabic are transcribed in voweling signs and not as independent letters. For beginner Arabic learners, voweling signs are necessary in order to read Arabic text correctly. That means that you'll sometimes see words that look the same when they're unvoweled but have a different pronunciation. Let's see some examples for that. قل, say in the imperative form. قل, it decreased. أكل, food. أكل, he ate. ذهب, he went. ذهب, gold. You have to consider the vowel signs as an essential part of the main text when you learn new vocabulary. It might seem challenging, but if you think of them as English vowels just on top of or below the consonants instead of in between them, it won't seem as awkward. Native Arabic speakers rarely need voweling though, because they can tell from the context which part of speech a word is, and also because of their years of experience. You can get to that level too by constant practice and regular vocabulary input. You can learn more about voweling by checking our Arabic Alphabet Made Easy series on ArabicPod101.com. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I write voweling signs or tashkil on a keyboard? This lesson is a quick tutorial on how to add voweling signs to Arabic text. So I'm going to be showing you how I do that on my Windows QWERTY keyboard. If you have a different operating system or layout, the buttons might change a bit, but the technique is going to be exactly the same. First, let's check out our three main voweling signs independently. We have fatha, dhamma, and kasra. What you want to do is first write the consonant to which you want to add the voweling sign. Then you're going to add the voweling sign itself. You will notice that the voweling sign is added on top of or below the consonant depending on the voweling sign. For fatha, you want to press Shift Q. For dhamma, Shift E. And for kasra, Shift A. Let's try and write down the word kutiba. This word has a dhamma on the kaf, a kasra under the ta, and a fatha on the ba. You should press the following buttons in this specific order. Kutiba, kaf, Shift E, ta, Shift A, ba, Shift Q. Kutiba. Pause the video and try it yourself. Now let's check out some more voweling signs. Tanween is a voweling sign that is added to a word when it's in certain positions in a sentence. It is pronounced an or in or un, or tan or tin or tun, depending on the position of the word in the sentence and the last letter of the word. To write a tanween with a fatha pronounced an or tan, you press Shift W. To write a tanween with a dhamma pronounced un or tun, you press Shift R. To write a tanween with a kasra pronounced in or tin, you press Shift S. Note that the tanween only occurs on the last letter of the word. Let's try and write the word marhaban, meaning hello. Marhaban. Mim, Shift Q. Ra, ha, Shift Q. Ba, alif, Shift W. Marhaban. Next we have the shadda and the sukun. These two are easy. Let's talk about the shadda first. It only occurs with consonants and its role is to double the sound of the consonant it affects. For example, from a d sound to a d sound. To write a shadda, you want to first write the consonant you want to double. Then you press Shift tilde, which is the button right below the escape button on your keyboard. Now, when you double the consonant, you also have to add a voweling sign after the doubled sound sometimes. To do this, right after you write the shadda, you can add the fatha or dhamma or kasra on top of the shadda itself. This creates the sound da or du or di, for instance. Let's practice this by writing the word shadda itself, which just so happens to have a shadda on its second letter. Shadda. Shin, Shift Q, Del, Shift tilde, Shift Q. Ta marbuta. Shadda. Lastly, we have the sukun. This is a voweling sign added to a consonant which doesn't have a vowel attached to it. It's especially used when there is another consonant following this consonant. You write the sukun by pressing Shift X. Let's see an example for sukun. The word juhd. Look at the romanization of this word. You will notice that there are two consecutive consonants, ha and del. To make sure that it's pronounced correctly, we put a sukun sign on the ha. So let's write the whole word. Juhd. Jim, shift E. Ha, shift X. Dal. Juhd. Note that sukun is sometimes omitted when it isn't necessary. So if you see a letters without any vowel between letters with vowel, it automatically means that it might have a hidden sukun. So that's it for our tutorial. I hope you like our lesson, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, how come there are numbers in between letters when people write Arabic in Latin letters? There are many ways to transliterate Arabic. You can use IPA, DIN, and many other systems. In this lesson, we're going to discuss a system that has been around for more than a decade now, called the Franco-Arabic. Franco-Arabic is used between friends and on social media. Arabic learners find it weird when they see it for the first time because it substitutes Arabic sounds with numbers. Franco-Arabic uses numbers for sounds that don't exist in English. Sounds that do exist in English, however, are spelled with the same Latin letters. Franco-Arabic is commonly used for most spoken Arabic dialects. Let's look at the sounds that don't exist in English and how they're substituted in Franco-Arabic. Here are the most commonly used ones. 2 is used to indicate any glottal stop, which is the sound. 3 indicates ain, while 3 with an apostrophe stands for ghain. 5 or 7 with an apostrophe indicate kha, while 7 stands for ha. The less commonly used ones are the following. 4 indicates sheen. 6 indicates ta. 8 indicates qaf. 9 indicates sad, and 9 with an apostrophe indicates dad. As you can see, the second group has closed phonemes in English, respectively sh, t, q, s, and d. So these Latin letters are often used instead of these numbers. These numbers were chosen because they look similar to their corresponding letters in Arabic. Look closely. Can you see the resemblance? Now, let's see what some sentences in Egyptian Arabic, for instance, looks like in Franco-Arabic. This way, it won't be a surprise next time your Arabic-speaking friend sends you a text in Franco-Arabic. How are you? How are things? إزيك? عامل إيه? Note the ع in عامل. What happened? خير. حصل إيه? Note the خ in خير and the ح in حصل. Patience is good, which is an Egyptian proverb. الصبر حلو. Note the ص in صبر and the ح in حلو. Probably I won't show up. غالبا مش هاجي. Note the غ in غالبا. Franco-Arabic is very convenient when using phones or computers that don't have Arabic installed. And it has been very popular for more than a decade now. But did you know that many people in social media are starting to lean more towards writing dialect Arabic in Arabic letters in hopes to keep the Arabic alphabet alive and thriving? I hope you liked this lesson. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi everyone, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com and welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, how come Arabic has many forms for the same letter? There are 28 letters in the Arabic alphabet, but many learners wonder why letters look different in different parts of the word. It can make the alphabet seem like so much more than 28 letters. That's due to the cursive nature of Arabic text. Arabic is written from right to left in a cursive style. اللغة العربية. So Arabic letters occur in 4 different forms: initial, medial, final, and isolated. Let's see examples of some letters in their 4 different forms. The letter Jim. Initial, جميل, beautiful. Medial, مجلة, magazine. Final, ثلج, snow. Isolated, سراج, lamp. Next we have the letter عين. Initial, علم, science. Medial, معلم, teacher. Final, منع, forbidding. Isolated, ممنوع, forbidden. Next we have the letter sin. Initial, سمك, fish. Medial, مسح, wiping. Final, همس, he whispered. Isolated, حماس, enthusiasm. Some letters don't change much from one form to the other. Only the connection part is different. Let's check out some examples. The letter تاء. Initial, تفاح, apple. Medial, متاح, available. Final, بيت, house. Isolated, صوت, a sound. Next we have the letter دال. Initial, دب, bear. Medial, قدر, fate. Final, عيد, feast. Isolated, ورد, flowers. Did you notice the word حماس in the examples? The Palestinian organization Hamas actually means enthusiasm in Arabic. I hope you like our lesson. Please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, my name is Noura and this is Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, what is the structure of modern standard Arabic sentences? In this lesson, we're going to give you an overview of how sentences are structured in modern standard Arabic. Language structure is usually described by the order of 3 main elements in a basic sentence: verb, subject, and object. For instance, English is an SVO language, meaning that the subject comes first, then the verb, and lastly the object. You can see this in any sentence, like John plays tennis. For Modern Standard Arabic, this looks a bit different. Modern Standard Arabic has 2 possible sentence structures, namely verbal sentences and nominal sentences. First, let's take a look at verbal sentences. As you can tell from its name, verbal sentences start with a verb. Then we have the subject and lastly the object. The following sentence is a VSO sentence. شرب رامي العصير. Rami drank the juice. Next we have the nominal sentence, which starts with the subject, then the verb, and lastly the object. This one has an SVO structure, just like English. Rami شرب العصير. Rami drank the juice. Note that in Modern Standard Arabic, when there is a verb in the sentence, verbal sentences are preferred. This will look different for sentences with the verb to be in English, because there is no verb to be in Arabic. Observe the following sentence. Rami is tall. Because there is no verb to be in Arabic, this is going to be a nominal sentence consisting of only a subject and an adjective. This is how the sentence is going to look like. Rami طويل. Rami is tall. Now let's see the second point in sentence structure, which is the noun-adjective order. Let's observe the following phrase. Big house. In English, the adjective big comes first, followed by the noun, house. In Arabic, this is the other way around. Observe the following phrase. بيت كبير. Big house. Here we have the noun first, بيت meaning house. Then we have the adjective كبير meaning big. The last point we'll touch on is where prepositions are located in a sentence. In this aspect, Arabic is quite similar to English. Observe the following sentence. Rami is in the house. In English, prepositions precede nouns. The same applies to Arabic. Rami في البيت. Rami is in the house. Note how there is no verb to be in the Arabic sentence because it is implied from the context. I hope you liked this lesson. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, my name is Nora, and this is Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, what do questions look like in Modern Standard Arabic? There are two types of questions in English, commonly known as yes or no questions and WH questions. The same applies to Arabic. Let's see what Arabic questions look like. First, let's look at yes or no questions. These are questions that ask whether or not something is true. In Modern Standard Arabic, we use the question word هل to ask yes or no questions. This structure is very easy. You add the word هل before the sentence that you want to ask about. That's it. For example, أكل رامي الكعك. Rami ate the cake. If we want to ask whether Rami ate the cake, what do you think we'll say? You're absolutely right. هل أكل رامي الكعك? Did Rami eat the cake? Pretty simple, right? Especially in comparison with English, where you have a different structure for questions. Now let's see how WH questions look like in Modern Standard Arabic. First, let's see a list of our question words. من who ماذا what متى when أين where كيف how. Now let's see what they look like in a sentence. Let's ask these 5 questions about this event. Rami ate the cake in the house in the morning with the spoon. أكل رامي الكعك في البيت في الصباح بالملعقة. Now let's try to ask all the possible questions about this statement. من أكل الكعك? Who ate the cake? ماذا أكل رامي? What did Rami eat? متى أكل رامي الكعك? When did Rami eat the cake? أين أكل رامي الكعك? Where did Rami eat the cake? كيف أكل رامي الكعك? How did Rami eat the cake? As you can see in Modern Standard Arabic, question words must come at the beginning of a sentence. Then comes the verb أكل, then comes the subject Rami, unless that's the information in question, as in the question who ate the cake. Finally, we have the object al-ka'k, again, unless that's the information we're asking about, as in the question what did Rami eat? So the order is verb, subject, object. I hope you like our lesson. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, my name is Nora and this is Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, what are sun and moon letters? You might have noticed that sometimes you see Arabic words with an L at the beginning. This L changes a noun from indefinite to definite, just like the English the. But sometimes, even if it says L in the text, it is pronounced a. In this lesson, we'll discuss why this happens. To understand this, we have to differentiate between 2 types of letters in Arabic, sun letters and moon letters. Words that begin with sun letters make the L before it sound like an A. Words that start in a moon letter allow the L to be pronounced fully. First, let's take a look at sun letters. Sun letters are referred to as حروف شمسية. حروف شمسية. Because the letter sheen at the beginning of the word shams, meaning sun, is itself a sun letter. Having a sun letter after the definite L will result in 2 things: losing the L sound in the L and doubling the initial sun letter itself. Sun letters are ذال, دال, ضاد, صاد, ثاء, شين سين تاء نون لام طاء راء زاي ظاء. Let's try to pronounce a word that starts with an L followed by a sound letter. الشمس الشمس the sun. الثالث الثالث the third. اللحم اللحم the meat. Notice how the sound letter is doubled and how the L sound is lost. Now let's take a look at moon letters. Moon letters are referred to as حروف قمرية. حروف قمرية because the letter قاف in the beginning of the word قمر, meaning moon, is itself a moon letter. Moon letters allow the L before them to be pronounced fully as L. Here are the moon letters. قاف فاء عين غين هاء خاء حاء جيم ياء باء كاف ميم همزة واو. Let's try to pronounce some words that start with an L followed by a moon letter. الماء الماء the water. الكلب الكلب the dog. الورد الورد the flowers. Notice how moon letters allow the L to be pronounced fully. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, my name is Noura. Welcome to Ask an Arabic Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, what do country names look like in Arabic? Don't you want to know how your country is pronounced in Arabic? Let's see some of the popular ones. First, let's see some African country names. Aljazair, Algeria. Al-Maghrib, Morocco. Janub Afriqa, South Africa. Madagascar, Madagascar. Ghana, Ghana. Misr, Egypt. What about Egypt's name, Misr? It sounds pretty different from English, doesn't it? Now let's see some European and Asian country names. Syria, Syria. Lebanon, Lebanon. Palestine, Palestine. Iran, Iran. Pakistan, Pakistan. Al-Hind, India. Malaysia, Malaysia. Indonesia, Indonesia. Russia, Russia. الصين, China. اليابان, Japan. Turkey, Turkey. اليونان, Greece. Italia, Italy. فرنسا, France. España, Spain. ألمانيا, Germany. المملكة المتحدة, UK. What about these two? They sound very different. النمسا, Austria. The word النمسا has Slavic origins. المجر, Hungary. المجر, which is another word for Hungary. Now let's see some country names in the Americas and the Pacific. أمريكا, America. الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية, the US. Canada, Canada. المكسيك, Mexico. Colombia, Colombia. البرازيل, Brazil. الأرجنتين, Argentina. أستراليا, Australia. New Zealand, New Zealand. Other than that, many country names in the world are very similar between Arabic and English. You might have to add an L before it or an A sound after it. All in all, they sound pretty similar. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, my name is Noura, and this is Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, are Arabic expressions affected by religion? There are a lot of expressions in Arabic that have Islamic origins. The Quran, which is the holy book of Muslims, was originally written in Arabic. Islam itself emerged from the Gulf region, which is historically an Arabic-speaking region. So it's no wonder that even modern-day Arabic is heavily influenced by Islam. These expressions shifted from being specifically religious to being purely cultural, meaning that many non-Muslim Arabs use them as well. Let's see some of these expressions. First we have Insha'Allah. Insha'Allah. Insha'Allah literally means if God wills. It implies that everything happens with the will of God and only if God wills. We use this expression after we say that we will do something or that something will happen or expect it to happen. For example, I will meet you at 6 o'clock, Insha'Allah. Notice the uncertainty in this expression. Many people exploit this expression and use it to mean that they probably won't do what they said they will. So be careful. Next we have Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah literally means thanks be to God. We use this expression not only when something good happens, but also if something bad happens. The implications is that it could have been worse, so we should be thankful to God anyway. Here's a sentence example. I got into an accident, but I came out of it with some bruises, alhamdulillah. Now, let's see the expression ربنا معك. ربنا معك. This one has many versions in different dialects. We're looking at the Egyptian version. It literally means may God be with you. Egyptians use it when they basically want to say good luck, implying that godly power is way stronger and more important than luck. For example, good luck on your exams. ربنا معك في الامتحان. The Levantine version of this is Allah يعينك. Allah يعينك. And there are many other versions, of course. You can use them on their own, of course, as long as they're in context. I hope you liked our lesson, and I will see you in the next episode, inshallah. Salam. Hi guys, my name is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, are there feminine and masculine inanimate objects in Arabic? Well, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that unlike French and Spanish, Arabic doesn't have gender-specific articles. Yay! In Arabic, we use the definite article el for both genders, and there is no indefinite article at all. Double yay! There is more good news. You can tell what gender a noun is from its structure. If you see a ha sound, commonly known as ta marbuta, at the end of a word, then it's definitely feminine and will be conjugated as such. For example, the word shajara, meaning tree. Now for the bad news. There are a lot of nouns that don't end in ta marbuta, but they're still feminine nouns. However, there aren't a lot of them, and once you know that they're feminine nouns, you just have to memorize them the way they are. An example of this is Sahara, meaning desert. The final part of the noun, is an indication that the word is most likely a feminine noun. It could also be a masculine noun, like the word ma, meaning water, which is masculine, so this rule only works with certain structures. But there isn't always a helpful indication. For instance, the word shams, meaning sun, is a feminine word. Do you see a ta marbuta? Nope. You have to consciously remember that it's a feminine noun. The last thing you need to know about Arabic feminine and masculine nouns is that they change the conjugation of any verb or adjective that describes them. For instance, we'll look at a noun-adjective-verb sentence for a masculine noun and for a feminine noun. الفتى الطويل يغني. The tall boy is singing. الفتاة الطويلة تغني. The tall girl is singing. The first one is masculine and the second one is feminine. See the slight difference in conjugation? Namely, the ta marbuta in the end of الطويلة and the ta in the beginning of تغني. Although this might seem challenging at first, it will feel like second nature with practice. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, How does Arabic adapt to sounds that don't exist in Arabic? And how are loanwords pronounced in Arabic? One way to sound like a native speaker is to know and avoid sounds that native speakers of the language cannot produce. It tells you how to properly pronounce many of the English loanwords that exist in Arabic. As we said before, it's hard to generalize all native Arabic speakers because there are so many dialects and they vary wildly. In this lesson, we will be talking about Egyptian, Levantine, and Gulf dialects in general. Of course, many Arabic speakers are bilingual and can speak English and other languages fluently. But in this lesson, we will speak about the sounds that these speakers sometimes struggle with. As you have seen from the previous lessons, the Arabic alphabet is missing many sounds that exist in English. The letter L, for instance, is pronounced differently from English. Listen closely to how it sounds in Arabic and in American English. Lam versus L. For example, the word classic in Arabic is klasiki. Now, if you say klasiki with a non-Arabic L, it will sound very weird to a native Arabic speaker. So in order to sound native, you have to adjust the L sound to the Arabic lam sound. Let's take a look at another sound, the P sound. This one is pretty tricky for native Arabic speakers to pronounce. They usually end up pronouncing it as a B sound. For example, if you want to order a soda in Egypt, you would usually use the word Bepsi, which is the common Egyptian word for soda. If you say Pepsi, I guess people will understand you, but they're gonna give you the look, you know? Another sound we have is the R sound. The R sound in Arabic is commonly referred to as the rolled R. Observe the difference in pronunciation of the word reb. This word has the same meaning in Egyptian Arabic as it does in English, namely rap music. Notice how the R sound in Arabic sounds like r, as opposed to the English R. Next, we're gonna address the sound the, as in the words this or that. Although this sound exists in modern Standard Arabic and in some dialects, it does not exist in Egyptian Arabic and many other dialects as well. This makes it tricky for some Arabic speakers to pronounce it, so they tend to change it into a Z or a D sound depending on the word. For example, the modern Standard Arabic word dhaki, meaning smart, becomes zaki in Egyptian Arabic. The same case applies for the th sound in three. This one usually changes into an S sound. The phrase thug life became very important on social media, but in Egypt, many people say sag life instead, for instance. So expect the book to sound like book and three to sound like sri. Speaking of how languages influence one another, did you know that Maltese, the national language of Malta, is highly influenced by Arabic? Not only does it have tons of loanwords from Arabic, but also a lot of its grammar is very similar to Arabic. Pretty interesting, right? I hope you like our lesson, and if you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everybody, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Arabic questions. In the previous lesson, we talked about English sounds that don't exist in Arabic. So in this lesson, we're going to answer the question, how many Arabic sounds don't exist in English? When people listen to Arabic, they may fall under the illusion that Arabic has so many sounds that don't exist in English, and that it's going to be extremely difficult to speak it. But like I said, it's only an illusion. In fact, out of the 28 sounds that exist in modern Standard Arabic, only 10 sounds don't exist in English. Moreover, a lot of these sounds aren't even used in spoken dialects and are reduced to sounds closer to their English counterparts. Let's take a look at the letters that are like an exaggerated version of sounds that already exist in English. Dod, which sounds like an exaggerated D sound like the D in double, like the word daman, meaning warranty. Sad, which sounds like an exaggerated S sound like the S in salt, like the word صبر, meaning patience. Next we have طاء, which sounds like an exaggerated T sound like the T in Tom, like the word مطر, meaning rain. ضاء, which sounds like an exaggerated the sound like the sound in brother, like the word ظلام, meaning darkness. حاء, which sounds like an exaggerated H sound like the H sound in how, like the word حلم, meaning dream. Commonly known as hamza, which is basically a glottal stop like the sound in uh-oh, like the word أنا, meaning I. As you can see, these 5 are more familiar to you than you think. Now let's take a look at the 4 sounds that might not be as familiar. With these, you might need some listening and speaking practice to get used to them. قاف, like the word قال, meaning he said. خاء, like the word خل, meaning vinegar. عين, like the word عمان, which means Amman, the capital of Jordan. غين, like the word غسل, meaning he washed. Take a look at our Ultimate Arabic Pronunciation Guide series for more information. These sounds don't exist in English, but some of them exist in other languages, perhaps in your language. So tell us in the comment section. Also, if you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, what are the possible forms of a verb in Arabic? Modern Standard Arabic has different conjugations for gender, number, and tense, resulting in very long conjugation tables. Starting with the conjugations you use the most, perfecting them, and then moving to another set of conjugation is a good way to go about memorizing these long tables. Let's take a look at how different a verb can look like depending on its conjugation in Arabic. We're only going to show you one verb so that we'll be able to see the differences very clearly. We chose the verb to go because it is a simple verb that's also commonly used when people start learning a new language. Let's see what verbs look like for different subjects in the present form. أذهب, I go. تذهب, you go. يذهب, he goes. تذهب, she goes. نذهب, we go. يذهبون, they go. يذهبان, they go, dual masculine. تذهبان, they go for dual feminine. يذهبن, they go for feminine. Let's take a look at how it looks like in a sentence. العاملون يذهبون إلى العمل. The workers go to work. Now let's take a look at the past tense conjugation. ذهبت, I went. ذهبت, you went. ذهبتِ, you went for feminine. ذهب, he went. ذهبت, she went. ذهبوا, they went. ذهبا, they went for dual masculine. ذهبتا, they went for dual feminine. ذهبن, they went for feminine. Let's see what this looks like in a sentence. أنا ومارك ذهبنا إلى النادي. Mark and I went to the sports club. Next, we have the imperative tense conjugation. اذهب, go. اذهبي, go for feminine. اذهبا, go for dual. اذهبوا, go for plural. اذهبن, go for feminine plural. Finally, let's see what the imperative looks like in a sentence. اذهبي إلى المحاضرة. Go to class. directed to a female. Conjugation is perhaps the trickiest thing for Arabic learners, but it's one of those things that will feel easier the more you practice. Also, don't forget that these conjugation tables are for modern standard Arabic, but conjugation tables for most spoken Arabic dialects are much shorter and easier. So that's it for our lesson. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, how come two people isn't plural in modern standard Arabic? You may have already noticed this in the previous lesson, but modern standard Arabic has a conjugation that's uncommon in other languages. That's the dual conjugation. It means that Arabic has a special form for conjugation for groups of two people, a separate conjugation from the plural. Let's see what it looks like. The suffix n and in are the pointers that give away dual adjectives, nouns, and verbs. Let's first take a look at what this looks like for verbs in basic sentences. Note that the verb only agrees with the noun in number if and only if it comes after the noun, directly or indirectly. Let's consider the following sentences. الولد يلعب في الحديقة. The boy plays in the park. Now for the dual. الولدان يلعبان في الحديقة. The two boys are playing in the park. Observe how the word walad, meaning boy, gained the suffix n to become waladan. Now, the verb conjugating this noun has to agree with the noun waladan in number, so it changes from yal'ab to yal'aban. The rest of the sentence remains unchanged. Now, let's see what a basic noun and adjective sentence looks like. In Arabic, adjectives must come after nouns, whether the sentence says the good man is here or the man is good. The noun always precedes the adjective, meaning man has to come before good. Let's consider the following sentences. الرجل طويل. The man is tall. And الرجلان طويلان. The two men are tall. Observe how رجل, meaning man, changed to رجلان in the dual form. طويل, meaning tall, changing into the dual form, طويلان. This suffix changes slightly with tenses. Let's see two more sentences, this time with a past tense verb. الطفل شرب اللبن. The child drank the milk. الطفلان شرب اللبن. The two children drank the milk. Did you notice what changed this time? The verb lost the final n sound because of its conjugation in the past tense of the dual form. Note that verbs in Arabic usually come at the beginning of a sentence. In that case, the verb is conjugated for a singular noun even if the noun following it is a dual noun. Again, keep in mind that this lesson is specific for modern standard Arabic. Dialects like Egyptian Arabic don't even have a dual form, so I guess that's one less thing to worry about. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Arabic questions. So I get asked this question a lot because this is one of those things that are specific to Semitic languages. And the question is, how are Arabic words created or formed? Derivation is the core of 99% of Arabic words. All words of Arabic origin come from a 3 or 4-letter base words called roots. In this lesson, we will learn how derivation works in Arabic. Arabic is a fusional language, meaning that changes can happen in the body of the word itself to create other words of related meanings. In other words, letters are inserted not just as prefixes or suffixes to the root, but also in between the root letters to form new words. Let's take a look at one of the most basic verbs in Arabic. The root is كتب. كتب. The root just on its own is the singular past tense form of the verb. This is also the form we use to look a word up in a classical Arabic to Arabic dictionary. Let's see how we can form a huge number of words out of this root. كتب, he wrote, which is the root. كاتب, a writer. كتاب, a book. كتابة, writing. مكتب, a desk. كتيب, a pamphlet. مكتبة, a library. اكتتاب, contribution of funds. Now let's see the variations of the verb to cook. طبخ, he cooked, which is the root. طبخة, a meal. مطبخ, a kitchen. طباخ, a chef. طبخ, cooking. مطبوخ, cooked. As you can see, letters are often inserted in between the root letters, not just as prefixes or suffixes, to form new words. This makes it a bit different from English, where we usually add an ing or er to create new words. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I will answer some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, where are the personal pronouns in Arabic? In one of the previous lessons, we've already discussed what the sentence structure is like in Modern Standard Arabic. In this lesson, we will show you what Arabic personal pronouns look like independently. In English, subject personal pronouns precede verbs, like in this sentence, I ate the cake. In Arabic, it's possible to use the independent personal pronoun أنا, meaning I, before the verb. For example, I ate the cake can be translated as أنا أكلت الكعك. However, it's common to omit أنا because it's already included as the suffix to in the verb أكلت. So the sentence could look like this. أكلت الكعك. For beginners, it might seem like there is no indication as to who the subject is, but in fact, the subject is included inside the verb itself. So the addition of an independent personal pronoun is a bit redundant. Nevertheless, it's important to know them, so let's take a look at independent personal pronouns in Modern Standard Arabic. أنا, I. أنت, you. أنتِ, you for feminine. أنتما, you for dual feminine and masculine. أنتم, you for plural masculine. أنتن, you for plural feminine. هو, he. هي, she. هما, they for dual feminine and masculine. هم, they for plural masculine. هن, they for plural feminine. These are used when it's necessary to stress who or what the subject is, as in the case for compound sentences and long sentences with many subjects and events. They're also a must with nominal descriptive sentences. This is because for adjectives, conjugation affixes can't give complete information about a subject, like whether it's in the first, second, or third person. Let's observe the following sentences. هم أمريكيون. They are American. We're talking about a group of American males in the third person, so we use the pronoun هم. Another example is هي متعبة. She is tired. Here we're talking about a female in the third person, so we use the pronoun هي. I hope you like our lesson. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, how come Arabic doesn't have verb to be? If I were to introduce myself in Arabic, I would say, Ismi Nura. Ismi Nura. If we translate this literally, it would be something like, name my Nora. Have you noticed that the verb to be isn't in the sentence? In this lesson, we will see how the Arabic sentence structure allows sentences to form without needing the verb to be. We'll see what a noun plus adjective sentence looks like in Arabic. Let's see how to say your nationality in Arabic first. أنا أمريكي. I am American. أنا فرنسي. I am French. أنا مكسيكي. I am Mexican. أنا تركي. I am Turkish. أنا أسباني. I am Spanish. أنا كندي. I am Canadian. For a female, you would add an إية sound to the end of the nationality. So, أمريكي would become أمريكية, and so on. Now let's see some other commonly used sentences that contain the verb to be in English but not in Arabic. السماء صافية. The sky is clear. الجو بارد. The weather is cold. البيت كبير. The house is big. أنا جائع. I am hungry. الطريق طويل. The road is long. الأكل لذيذ. The food is delicious. You must be wondering, what about the past tense? The auxiliary verb كان and its variations are the closest thing to the past tense verb to be in English. For example, كان الأكل لذيذا. The food was good. Note how the past tense verb to be كان in Arabic comes in the beginning of the sentence, unlike in English. You can learn more about this subject by checking out Lesson 8 of our intermediate series on ArabicPod101.com. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, what types of loanwords are there in Egyptian Arabic? I'd like to introduce you to my native dialect, which happens to be one of the most widely understood dialects of Arabic, Egyptian Arabic. Egyptian Arabic is the result of Egypt's diverse history. After all, Egypt is not only the land of the pharaohs. Egypt was part of many empires, like the Roman Empire and the Ottoman Empire, then was a French colony, then an English colony. There is no way a country can have such a history without being influenced by all of these different cultures and languages. First, here are some words that are used in Egypt on a daily basis that have English, French, Latin, or Italian origins. Décor. Décor. Régime. Diet. Mobilia. Furniture. Model. Model, usually used for cars. Dynamo. Dynamo. Motor. Motor. Taxi. Taxi. Radio. Radio. Televisión. Television. Telephone. Telephone. Balcona. Balcony. Coiffeur. Hairdresser. Buffet. Buffet. Doctor. Doctor or professor. Egyptian Arabic also borrowed a lot of words from Turkish. Let's take a look at some Turkish loanwords in Egyptian Arabic. Oda. Room. Dolab. Closet. Shanta. Bag. Gazma. Shoes. Kobri. Bridge. Efendim. Sir. Baltagi. Thug. These loanwords came into Egyptian Arabic a long time ago, meaning that both young people and old people use these words. Most people don't even know that they're originally non-Arabic words. So next time you meet an Egyptian, tell them how much they have borrowed from your language. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, how do I sound polite in Arabic? Many languages have honorific speech as a whole different level of speech. Arabic honorifics are much easier than that. Much like English, Modern Standard Arabic, and almost all Arabic dialects have certain words and titles that you can add to sentences to make your speech sound more polite. First, let's start with honorific terms and see what they look like in action. The first one is min fadlik. Min fadlik, meaning please. Min fadlik is usually used with requests and orders. Adding min fadlik to any request will make you sound more polite and people will take you more seriously. For instance, الحساب من فضلك. الحساب من فضلك. The check, please. The next honorific term is لو سمحت. لو سمحت, literally meaning if you may allow. This one means pardon me or excuse me. It's a little like min fadlik, but is more often used with questions. Adding it to any question you ask will make you sound more polite. For example, لو سمحت أين المدخل؟ لو سمحت أين المدخل? Excuse me, where is the entrance? The next honorific term is حضرتك. حضرتك, or in the Egyptian dialect حضرتك, is the polite alternative of you. Replace you with حضرتك or حضرتك in a sentence and you will immediately sound more polite. For example, أين أنت is the casual way to say where are you. In the polite version, this becomes أين حضرتك. أين حضرتك, which also means where are you, but more polite. Next, we have أستاذ and أستاذة, which mean Mr. and Miss. Use أستاذ for masculine and أستاذة for feminine before people's names to sound more polite. These are typically used for teachers and to address people in a business setting. For example, Sami, which is a man's name, should become أستاذ Sami, meaning Mr. Sami. Hiba, which is a woman's name, should become أستاذة Hiba, meaning Miss Hiba. Lastly, we have تفضل. تفضل is the polite way of saying come over here or come in or go ahead. It's a very useful word and is used in many contexts, as you can tell from its many different meanings. You might use it to invite someone in, invite them to start eating, and many other things. Keep in mind that it changes slightly according to the gender. For example, the casual singular masculine form of this word is ادخل or تعال. It means go ahead or come in. The polite singular masculine is تفضل. The casual singular feminine is ادخلي or تعالي. And the polite singular feminine is تفضلي. تفضلي. I hope you like our lesson. If you have any more questions about the polite form, please leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I will see you in the next episode. Salam. Hi everyone, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, what do common computer and social media words look like in Arabic? Have you ever seen Facebook in Modern Standard Arabic? Have you wondered what terms and expressions are used in Arabic computers? Let's take a look at some of the most common ones. First, let's see common words used for computers in general. ابدأ. Start. This is the Windows Start menu. لوحة التحكم. Control panel, in case you want to change some settings like language, for instance. ملف. File. مجلد. Folder. مستند. Document. My documents, for example, is called المستندات, which is the plural form of مستند. حفظ, save, to save a file. نسخ, copy. لصق, paste. حذف, delete, which literally means to throw away.
Now let's see some expressions related to the internet.
تحميل, download, and the opposite is رفع, upload. تثبيت, install, to install an app or a program. موقع, website. It literally means site, and it's the short version of the expression موقع إلكتروني, literally meaning electronic site. صفحة, web page, literally means page. بريد إلكتروني, email, literally electronic mail. You might also see email written in Arabic letters sometimes. فتح, open, to open a tab in a browser. غلق, close, to close a tab in a browser. تراجع, undo, to undo an action. فيروس, virus, beware of this one.
Now let's see some expressions commonly used on social media.
حساب, account, referring to a Facebook or Instagram account, for example. افتح حساب, open an account, which is the expression as a whole. تسجيل دخول, sign in, which is the action of signing in. اسم المستخدم, username, literally meaning username. Many expressions were literally translated from English, as you can see. كلمة السر, password, literally secret word. It is secret, right? مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي, social media website. Social media alone is التواصل الاجتماعي, which is a very, very hot topic these days. أعجبني, like. This is the like button on Modern Standard Arabic Facebook, literally meaning I liked it. تعليق, comment, meaning a comment on a post or a status update on Facebook or in a video on YouTube, for example. تحديث حالة, status update, meaning status update used on Facebook mainly. Now, whenever you see a computer and it's set up in Arabic, you'll be able to recognize the most basic functions. I hope you liked our lesson. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Salam! Hi everyone, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll be answering some of your most common Arabic questions. The question for this lesson is, what are some common expressions used in street signs in the Arab world? How cool is it that instructional signs are almost identical in just about every Arabic-speaking country? No matter what dialect the country speaks, instructional signs are always in Modern Standard Arabic. Let's take a look at the most common instructional signs. First, we have signs that you'll typically see in a parking lot. خروج, exit. دخول, entrance. garage, or موقف, parking. Next, we have signs you will typically see on the road. قف, stop. اتجاه إجباري, must turn left or right. إلزم اليمين, keep right. إلزم اليسار, keep left. الأولوية لك, you have priority. هدئ السرعة, slow down. انتبه, watch out or attention. The last two signs, هدئ السرعة and انتبه, are usually seen before sudden bumps, construction work, and dangerous curves. كيلومتر, kilometers. متر, meters. These two are the shortened versions of kilometre and mètre respectively, just like km for kilometer and m for meter in English. They're usually shortened to fit on street signs. They're used in many signs like the ones that tell you where you are on the highway. For example, if you're 200 kilometers away from Alexandria on the Cairo to Alexandria highway, somewhere on the way you will see a sign that says 200 كيلومتر 200 kilometers. طن tons. This one is mainly for truck weight allowances. The number you will see next to ton is the maximum weight allowance on this road in ton. Lastly, we have two of the main reasons why people get tickets on the streets of Egypt. ممنوع الدخول. No entry, commonly used for one-way streets. ممنوع الانتظار. No parking, commonly found in front of exits, entrances, and around important buildings. Driving in the Middle East might feel intimidating at first, but as long as you follow the rules and stay attentive to your surroundings, you'll be okay. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Hi guys, this is Nora from ArabicPod101.com. Welcome to Ask an Arabic Teacher. The question for this lesson is, do you have any recommendations for Arabic media to watch or to listen to? One of the best ways to learn a language and have fun at the same time is to watch or listen to media presented in that language as a part of your study routine. That way you will hear how it sounds in a natural setting, and with time it won't feel that foreign anymore. First, you have to choose the dialect you want your media to be in. In this lesson, I will give you some recommendations for shows and media to watch or listen to make your Arabic learning experience more engaging than ever. First, let's see media for Modern Standard Arabic. As you know, Modern Standard Arabic is mainly used in the news. That's why most of the Modern Standard Arabic available online is news channels, websites, or radio streams. For that, I recommend BBC Arabic. You can read news on their website, watch the live stream, or listen to BBC Arabic radio on the go. Next, let's take a look at Egyptian Arabic media. This one is probably the most available online in the form of TV shows, movies, variety shows, and music. That's why there is so much to choose from. So here, I would like to recommend some shows that have become really popular in the past couple of years. Nelly وشريهان. Nelly and Sherihan. Nelly وشريهان is a comedy TV show about two cousins, a rich one and a poor one, who reunite in order to find the inheritance their grandfather left them. It is a light comedy show that's sure to make you laugh. Grand Hotel. Grand Hotel. Grand Hotel is the Egyptian version of the Spanish drama by the same name. It tells a story about a young man who goes to Aswan to investigate his sister's sudden disappearance and works as a waiter at the same hotel his sister worked at, and then falls in love with the owner's daughter. Together they try to solve this mystery. It has elements of suspense and romance. عايزة أتجوز. I wanna get married. This is another TV show that's become extremely popular. Originally a book by the writer Ghada Abdelal, it tells the story of a lady in her late 20s trying to find a good man and get married. She meets a different man each episode and hilarity ensues. عسل أسود. Molasses. This movie tells the story of a man who returns to Egypt after living most of his life in the United States. It's a comedy that shows the expectations versus the reality of living in Egypt. It's a good way to see how Egypt looks like from a foreigner's perspective, and it's also hilarious. Most of the shows I mentioned are available for legal streaming on YouTube. Next is Levantine Arabic media. Syrian Levantine Arabic is a popular variety of Arabic dialects. It's become even more popular in the past 10 years because Turkish TV shows became very popular in the Arab world, and they are dubbed in Syrian Arabic. Some of the most popular Syrian dubbed Turkish series are أسميتها فريحة. I named her Fariha. A story of a young poor girl who goes to college on a scholarship and falls in love with a rich guy but hides the fact that she is very poor from everyone. العشق الممنوع. Forbidden Love. This is a story of a young man who slowly falls in love with his uncle's wife. The good thing about Syrian dubbed Turkish drama is that they are very long. An episode is typically 2 hours long, and the series usually lasts for more than 60 episodes, so you'll need more than a lifetime to watch all of them. You can play them while you're working or commuting, and you'll start picking up words in no time. Now for Syrian shows. Nus yom, half a day. A young man goes back to Syria to take care of his late father's business, where he falls in love with a young lady that turns out not to be the woman he was hoping for. Al-Arab, The Godfather. This is a Syrian version of The Godfather. There are obviously a lot of differences, but the story goes along the same lines. Another source of media you should check is Lebanese music. I definitely recommend listening to the Lebanese singer Nancy Ajram because she's absolutely adorable and popular. Also, the translated lyrics for her songs can be found very easily. So that's it for our series. I hope you liked our lessons. If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below and keep practicing Arabic. And thank you for watching. Salam.